Okay, we are going to talk about directional terms. And so I've got the videos that I did from last year that shows bigger chunks of material. So the way we are going to try to do it this year is that I am going to give notes over smaller sections, and that's what you're going to be quizzed on. While I'm going through this, you need to be taking Cornell notes. And I will have a video posted on Canvas that shows how to do that. There are also slides within this presentation that ask questions, and you'll be answering those in your notes too, comparing it with a partner and checking to make sure that you've done it correctly. So, anatomy, like all sciences, has a language of its own. And for most science, the basis of the language is either Latin or Greek. Reason for that is Latin and Greek are dead languages, so they're not used in normal conversation. What happens when words are used and it's a language that everyone speaks? Slang comes into effect. So words get different meanings with different generations. So it may be called one thing in one culture and it might be called something totally different in another. That makes it really hard to communicate with people in other areas or people in other cultures. So Greek and Latin are used so that there's no change in the meaning. It also makes them more universal. So we do the same thing with like directional terms and body parts so that if I'm talking to a doctor in Japan and I mention a particular landmark or direction or placement on the body, that they will understand those terms also. So special terminology is used to prevent misunderstanding. So we are going to learn exact terms that are used for the position of the body, the directional terms on the body, regions, and then structures. So before we begin the directional terms, realize the directional terms are being used as if the person is standing in what we call anatomical position. Anatomical position, the person is facing you, their palms are facing forward, their arms are down at their sides. So that is always what's going to be used as the basis for these directional terms. So here's an example. Most of the directional terms, to be exact, all the directional terms come with two sets of opposites. So as long as you learn one, if you know the opposite word, you know it has the opposite meaning. So for example, superior and inferior. Superior is also called cranial, which means head, or cephalad, which also means head. If you've ever taken zoology, a cephalopod is a head foot. It's an octopus. Inferior is also caudal, because if you're talking about fish, the caudal tail is the posterior, or the caudal tail, sorry, is not posterior. Caudal tail is the one that is below the body. So superior is above, inferior is below. So generally towards the head is going to be superior, away from the head is inferior. Whenever you write statements that use these terms, whatever body part you list first goes with that first term. So for example, my shoulders are superior to my elbows. Since my shoulders are above my elbows, I use the term superior. My knees are inferior to my hips. Since knees are listed first, I use the term inferior instead of superior. So the knees are inferior to the hips. So superior and inferior are things that are above and below on the body. So for example, my shoulders are superior to my hips. My hips are inferior to my head. So whatever goes first is what you put with the proper term. Second one, whoops, excuse me, I keep doing that. The second one has to do with anterior and posterior. Let me go back one slide here. So anterior and posterior. Anterior also means ventral, and ventral means belly, so that is towards the front of the body. Posterior is the back or dorsal and is towards the back side of the body. So when you're looking at anterior and posterior, you are looking at what's in front of you and what's in back of you. If it is more towards the front of your body, then it's anterior. If it's more towards the back of your body, it's dorsal. So you're going to be comparing front to back. So the example that they give here is your breastbone or your sternum compared to your spine. The breastbone is at the anterior or the front portion of your body. The spine is at the back. So you say your breastbone is anterior to the spine. The spine is posterior to the breastbone. You can also do something like my heart is anterior to my spine. So it is more towards the front of my body. The spine is in the back. You could say that my rib cage is more anterior than my heart. So towards the front versus towards the back of the body. We have medial and we have lateral. Medial, when you're looking at medial, you're considering that you're looking at a plane that cuts you exactly in half. So it goes down through the nose, the mouth, down the breastbone. So anything that lies closer to that median line is medial. Anything that is to the side of that is lateral. So anterior and posterior deals with what's in front compared to back. Medial and lateral is all on the same horizontal plane. So if I'm looking at something for that, it's going to be a comparison of something that is side by side. So for example, my nose is medial to my ears. The opposite term of medial is, of course, lateral. So if I was rephrasing that, my ears are lateral to my nose. If I look at my breastbone is medial to my shoulders. If I look at, I have another one that would be side by side. So the head, the shoulders, you could say, and those are the most common ones. On those, oops, I'm gonna go down one more on here. See if they give another example because it's evening and I'm blanking out. Even arms to chest. Your arms are lateral to your chest. We do use the term intermediate. So if you figure medial and lateral, in between would be your armpit, but I will not be using those for a quiz. Next two terms are proximal and distal. Proximal and distal are only used on arms and legs because proximal means it's close to the point of attachment. So if you're talking about your arms, the point of attachment is your shoulders. If you're talking about your legs, your point of attachment is your hips. So if I'm looking on my arms, my elbows are proximal to my wrist, which means my elbows are closer to my shoulder than my wrist is. On my legs, I could say that my ankles are distal to my knees because my ankles are further away from my hips than my knees. So it's always going to be whatever is closest to either your hips for your legs or your shoulders for your arms is considered proximal. Whatever is further away from those points of attachment are considered distal. And then the last pair we have is superficial and deep, and they a lot of times are very similar to anterior and posterior. To be exact on a matching, I would never give superior and, anterior and posterior and superficial and deep as options because they could be used interchangeably. So superficial is towards the surface of your body, deep is further inside. So the most obvious superficial on us is our skin. So my skin is superficial to my muscles. If I am looking at my organs as compared to my bones, so if I look at my rib cage, my lungs are deep to my rib cage. So my rib cage is closer to the surface of my body. My lungs are further inside my body, so they are considered to be deep. So what we're going to do with this is, number one, on your notes, go ahead and answer these 7 questions. Put the appropriate word in that goes with it. When you look at this, for number 7, I give you the option of proximal or distal because you could also use superior and inferior. So answer those, compare it with your shoulder partner. When you are done with this, then there is a worksheet that you're going to do on the terms, and then you'll see listed to a mannequin activity that you're going to do with clay, and then after that will be the quiz.